Hi, welcome to Vlogentines number 13. My name is Donna from In a Pickle Knitting, and I have a children's literature book for you today and several Valentine crafts. So let's get started. My book today is called Celebrate Valentine's Day. It is a National Geographic kids books, and it's actually Celebrate Valentine's Day with love, cards, and candy. And you see on the cover some cupcakes and a cute little dog. And almost looks like a stuffed animal, but I think he's probably real. Who knows? Maybe it is a stuffed animal. It's written by Carolyn Otto. And I like this book a lot. It's nonfiction, obviously, because it goes through so many aspects of Valentine's Day. Love, cards, candy, being thematic, and making Valentines for special people. And another thing I like about this is all National Geographics will do. The photography will be excellent. And it shows so many different countries where Valentine's is being celebrated. So I really like that. And that it's showing here that, look at this mass wedding and then this wedding that's taking place on the ice. Just, you know, fun things to do about Valentine's. And there's lots and lots of details about Valentine's Day, how it got started back from Saint Valentine. Let's see here, some just red everywhere with flowers and balloons. And in the very back, it has a map showing where they took all of the pictures. So kind of not everywhere, but quite a bit of the world. It has great grandma's sugar cookie recipe. It has a Valentine's game. What was it called? Musical Valentine's game. Has a little Just the Facts section about who celebrates Valentine's Day. It's mostly celebrated in Great Britain, France, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. However, the holiday has also become popular in many other countries. So that was a little interesting to know. So just a great deal of pictures and facts about Valentine's Day. And I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think that for having a nonfiction book, this is good even for adults to look through. You would enjoy the photography as well as learning some of the facts about Valentine's Day. So that's our book for today. And then I have one main craft, but then several smaller ones. So the first one I'm going to show you is from this book, 60 Quick Knits. And right here, this is the very first pair of color work. The very first thing I ever worked in color work was this pair of mittens, but I had to give them away because they turned out too tight for my hands. They did not feel comfortable. So this time I chose to make this pattern, and it is called Hugs and Kisses Mittens, and there's actually a better picture on the next page here. So that you can see, working with cables, there are X's and O's down the front, the top part of the hand on both mittens. And it's got, I did not do mine in red. I think they look nicer in red, but I didn't have enough red yarn, and I did have enough pink yarn to make them. So here they are. They have a pearl stitched thumb, and then here are the X's and O's. And this pattern here that's on the cuff, it's a pretty long cuff, is repeated all the way down the back hand, the palm side of the mitten, as well as right through here and here. And you'll notice here I made a little mistake. I forgot to do the cross on that part of the row, and I did not discover that until I was blocking them, so that's not going to get fixed. The second mitten is not really very far along. It's only to the cuff, and I'm getting ready to start in on the hand and picking up stitches for the gusset. You pick up stitches to about here and then put those stitches on waste yarn until the end. So when I did that, I think that's why my gauge changes, because the smaller the circumference I have on DPNs, the tighter I seem to get. So this is a little tighter than here. So I think if I was to start from the beginning, I think that I would do the cuff just like this. I would do the rest of the mitten, including the thumb, in stockinette, and just have the cables. And you probably want some pearl, maybe this little row right here, because you want your cables to stick out. So I think I would just put that part down the front, just because this took a long time and I don't think it particularly adds anything, although it does give it a little bit more stretch in the mitten. It is a fairly narrow mitten. It is not for somebody with a really big hand. It fits my hand, but my hand is wide across here, and it pulls right. Well, I can just show you. Not that you probably care, but just because for your own reference. Okay, so it's not that it's not tight at all. It's not pulling at all, but it does open up quite a bit there. And I've got a little hole there. I can see. I usually get a hole when I'm doing my mittens right there in that spot where you've had to pick up some stitches, but I didn't notice it was quite that open, so I'll have to go back and fix that when I finish up the second mitten. So making Valentine mittens, there's a lot of mitten patterns out there that have hearts on them. But I liked this with the X's and O's with the cables. I think that's kind of fun. So that's my the main craft that I have there. But I also want to talk about a craft for kids. And I really like this one because it's something that you could do with different age children at different levels. And I found a little kit even. So this kit I think might help make it more applicable to different ages, and that is painting rocks for Valentine's Day. Now I picked this up at Michael's and it was $4.99, but it was 50% off, and that was before Valentine's Day. So I think that was a pretty good deal. It gives you 5 rocks inside. Also, there's a little bit of paint, although it's not a great deal of paint. It's one of these little pots of paint. Then also there are 5 rocks, and there's a brush and this little stylus you could use to help you with some of the lines. The rocks then are printed with a pattern on it. So that's why I think this makes a kind of all age. If you have a really young child, they could just paint it a solid color and then put some stickers on it to make a face. Or you could put heart stickers on it. And then just put your clear, whatever you're going to use, clear acrylic spray. Some people do Mod Podge, but those definitely won't work outside if you do Mod Podge. Or if you have enough talent, you can do this. It does say ages 6 and up, and I think that filling something in like that is kind of a 6, 7, 8-year-old skill. I'm not quite sure I could do it. So you could then, instead of just coloring it solid, just painting it solid, you could paint the design, or you could get more creative. An older child might want to be more creative and look at another design or use something from their own imagination to put their design on the rock. And so I did some using my own imagination. Well, not really. I looked at Pinterest and copied some of theirs. So there was this one with some dots and some little hearts, and then I just wrote love on the back. Did this one with a heart and then some dots around the heart, and wrote love with a heart on the back. And I did this one, wrote love on the back. And then I did one with, this pink is a paint pen. And then I did an iridescent over the purple paint that I did on those hearts. I can't even get the sun off of it there to let you see it good. But there's an iridescent paint that I put over the top of the hearts there. So painting rocks is kind of a fun activity if you like that sort of thing. But it was multi-aged, I felt, with this little kit. And actually, if you even didn't have the kit, you could still make it multi-age, just everyone doing the kind of design that they would like to do. So that's my kit craft. I also, my grandson's been making these all the time when he comes over with his old Duplos. And he also was, I bought him a little Lego pack, and it had a little heart that opened up and had Lego pieces that looked like a box, made it look like a box of candy. So I'll put a picture of it here because he put that one together. So making Lego hearts, and you could really get creative with that using all kinds of colors for those kids who like to build with Lego. And so that was for kids craft. And then I had one more little craft that I made, I'd wanted to make a little pouch. So I made, it could be a notions pouch, it could be a little pouch to put your earbuds in, or change in your wallet, or a few little extra things to tuck in here or there. I put the zipper in the side, and I did line it to try and, you know, hide any seams on the inside. What I did was that my brain had said I'm going to piece together strips. I did different width strips of fabric, sewed them together, and then quilted it. So I put a thin layer of batting, the thinnest kind that I had, and then a backing fabric. And I just stitched in the ditch down the different strips. But my idea was, after making it, was to turn it on the diagonal so that I would have the stripes going diagonally. And then I forgot to do it. I just traced it out, and I thought, oh, how's it going to fit? Because my pattern was this cookie cutter. I thought, okay, that's a good enough size right there. It'll be big enough. I mean, it's definitely not great, huge, big for a notions pouch, but for a little change purse, it's kind of big. But I didn't think I could go any smaller and still negotiate this zipper. What I did was sewed the little strip of fabric at both ends so that I didn't have any metal in there, and then that gave me a way to get it sewn in without it being just the zipper at the very end. So that's a common kind of method to, I didn't use a pattern, I just had it in my head. I was going to do, I'd seen a few done differently, mostly with zippers in the middle, which would have been fine, but I kind of liked having it on the side there. So both sides are different because they were from different parts of the piece together strips of fabric that I had. And I think I took some pictures, so I'll put some pictures here, and it was just of the strip being done. I mean, it was an 8x8 inch square of quilted fabric being done, and then how I drew my hearts on there with my cookie cutter. So I think that's all that I have today. Oh no, I was going to talk about one more thing. It was one of the food things that I had to talk about. You could make for your Valentine, for a nice morning breakfast treat, some cherry hand pies. And so I made cherry hand pies, and I used this cookie cutter to cut out 2 pieces of the dough or pastry, and then I had one tiny one that I put in the center of one of the two to make a steam escape hole. So you could do this by making your own scratch puff pastry, which I did not do. I'm a scratch baker, but I didn't think for this I wanted to put all the time into puff pastry, so I bought puff pastry. You can just buy the puff pastry sheets that are in the freezer section. So I bought that and used 1 sheet of the pastry. 2 sheets come in this particular box. It was a Pepperidge Farm box, and I just used 1 of them, let it get not room temperature, still cold, but just so that it could unfold, and I rolled it out a little bit thinner and cut out, I think 4 or 6 I managed. I can't remember if I got 4. No, I only got 4 out of the pastry. I had it left over, but not enough to do another 2 of these. I think that's what had happened. And then you put 1 on your cookie sheet or whatever you're going to bake on. And I used canned cherry pie filling without the goopy stuff in it. I tried to just pick the cherries out. You still get some of that goopy stuff, but that was okay. But I just put a few in, and then took the one with the hole and put it on top with a little egg wash, made up an egg wash, and just put it in between the 2 and then pressed it down. You could do it with a fork or crimp it with your fingers, just so that the top and the bottom seal together. And then I put egg wash on the top and sprinkled some large crystal sugar pieces on the top. It always gives a nice little crunch on the top. So here's a picture of the hand pie. And these are the cookie cutters I used. I know once you see it, it doesn't look, it kind of changes shape as it bakes, so it doesn't look quite that shape, but it still looks a heart shape. So making a little breakfast treat for your Valentine is another idea for Valentine's Day. I hope that I will see you tomorrow, which will be day 14 and our last day of Vlogentines. Bye.